Welcome back to the Retro Sports Gamer channel. Back at it with some Ken Griffey Jr. 2 games left in this season. And I'll probably keep playing this game on the channel, on stream, until I finish this season. So there's not too much of it left. Forget what the playoff format is. My start button is you have to press it pretty hard, but it still works. And continue. Look at the standings real quick. 19-5, best team in the American League and in the entire league. So definitely going to be in the playoffs. And I'll look at the player stats after this one. Last game went 15 innings in a win. I was a little rusty, but pulled it off, and season averages definitely went down in that one. Let me turn this music or game sound down just a little bit. Let's get into a game. Mariners at Royals. So the Royals in the 90s were bottom of the barrel. For a second, I couldn't think where the Royals were from. Kansas City Royals. And we're off. So this one should be an easier game, but we'll see. The pitcher of the Indians was throwing me off and wasn't getting a lot of hits in the last one. But when I'm on, I could put it up a 10 spot in this game. So one thing I noticed with YouTube, I don't know, maybe the last 3 to 4 months, the alerts just go out slow. There was one stream I was doing where I could tell the alert went out like 45 minutes into the stream. So we got Vinny Clayton, or no, taking pitches like a champ. That one's out of play. Oh, fooled me with that one. I thought it was coming back in. Full count. Oh, I thought I ripped that right to the fielder, though. Comes Moray Ramirez. See if I can get him to jack one out of the park. Nope. What's up, Dwayne? Yeah, it's been a while. Good to see you in the chat. And I always reiterate in this game, if you want to hit a home run or fly ball, hold the down button. If you want to hit something more on a line or grounder, you hit the up button. And then just straight up solid line drive hits don't do either. If you don't hit the down button, it's going to be really hard to hit a home run. So that's a little Ken Griffey Jr. winning run tip. It's not the first time I've talked about it, but you never know who's going to pop in and look at the stream. Fielders also kind of automatically start moving to the ball. So it's, sometimes there's not really much of a reason to move them. But the weather in Chicago has been pretty wild this week. It's been in the mid-90s some days. And the week previous was like in the 40s. You know, maybe high of low 50s. So it's been an extreme temperature change. Went from having the heat on to air conditioning. Although I did sit outside yesterday in the heat, and it felt pretty good. Been kind of congested. I guess I would say I have a cold. Oh, man. It dropped. And the heat, the extreme heat actually, while I was out there, it kind of cleared me up. I was surprised because usually I like the cold when I have congestion, but that heat really helped. What do I think of today's baseball video games? Well, if we're talking about the show, it's just more complicated than I like the baseball games to be. Oh my goodness, he threw them out. It's like, see, the base running of the computer's terrible. What's up, Megadan? Sox got beat. What's up, James Bond? It's still early in the season. I mean, when it comes to baseball, 162 games, you kind of have to look at like a 2 or 3 week sample to see how the season's going. Game to game is... that just didn't go well. What's up, Kareem? Yeah, they don't feel like video games. And like I usually say, that all the meters and the different layers of buttons you have to hit just to execute a simple pitch and hit, it's just way more than I want to do. So it just bores me. Yeah, I like this version of Ken Griffey Jr. on SNES, but a lot of people like Slugfest more. For sure, yeah. You could just crank through games 15 minutes. I mean, with attention spans seeming to be... oh, I got him out. Seeming to be shorter, it's surprising they make these games last even longer. I drive the mobile extreme gaming bus for work to parties, and I put MLB The Show 22 on there. It's a brand new game, and I've seen it played once. People just don't want to really play them. They're not fast enough action. Slugfest Loaded. I have definitely not played that one. Full season of the Indians on the channel now. I remember, yeah, a while back when you did a season with the Sox. But you did like 100 something games. Did you do a full 162? I mean, that's definitely grinding it out. I've never been a grinder, even when it comes to sports games. It'll take me a while to get through a season. I'm just not getting it. Maybe the down button doesn't work that well in this. Yeah, full 162. Oh, that would have been a home run if I hit it fair. Yeah, that's commitment, man. I give you props for that. I couldn't I couldn't have the patience for it, even though the games are quick. Griffey over 500 average. Oh, get out. Deep enough. Wow. Deep center. Yeah, Slugfest on the Xbox. No, I haven't played it. Or now that I'm thinking, no, it's not Home Run King. That's on the GameCube. Oh, you watched that? Thanks, Megadan. I appreciate it. Yeah, we've done the Retro Sports Gamer Championship now probably 5 years, something like that, maybe 6. So we've always opened it up to the public, and the last few years it's been at bars, but this time it was just at my house. Mostly with the guys who've been around the channel the longest. And yeah, it was a good time. I almost was able to be the champion since the first year. I almost upset DPS in NHL 94 in the last game. Because he's much better at that game than I am. So he was kind of shocked that it got that close. But man, that was a long day, so sometimes, you know, the focus goes for a little bit. Same graphics for Ken Griffey Jr. N64 games. I would say the graphics hold up better on this game than any of the, you know, N64 baseball games. Because this was like that rare formula of 2D, 3D that they kind of did with like Donkey Kong Country, and it just looks good. It's not a true 3D, but they pull it off. It was impressive with what the developers were able to do with the Super Nintendo and the Genesis. Oh, Slugfest Loaded. Okay, you're talking about MLB Slugfest, the Midway. Okay, yeah. No, I've definitely played those. I don't know if I played the Loaded, which is probably one of the last versions of it. But '03 or '04, whatever they were before, I've played those. Maybe not on Xbox, but I played a ton of them on PS2. And those had a formula to make baseball games fun. So if you are bored by baseball games and you want to play some fun arcade style ones with MLB teams and players, then that would be the franchise to go check out, Slugfest. I thought about putting it in the Retro Sports Gamer Championship. We've talked about it. But there was just some of us that weren't as familiar with it. And there's a lot of buttons to memorize once you start getting PS2 games in there. Like Blitz and Showtime on the Dreamcast, it's still simple arcade controls. You only use 3 of the buttons. I think that's better for switching up sports in a decathlon like that. So, with 2 games left in the season, oh man. What was I going to say? With 2 games left in the season, I need to get my hitting on track. Because this is not going to cut it in the playoffs. But when I got it on a streak of playing this a lot, I was crushing some teams. I don't think there's slaughter rule like RBI. I haven't seen it. But I also haven't won by like 20 runs before. What's up, Theodore? How you doing? I mean, if you guys had the most preferred baseball game to play, which one would it be? A lot of people say MVP Baseball 2005. But for me, it's definitely the baseball games of the earlier systems. Much more simple gameplay. D-Slime, do I think he's any good at this game? Well, I haven't played my friend Darren in a while, and I don't know. I think he could be decent at it. He used to be pretty solid at baseball games. I'm sure I've played him in it a time or two. Is it deep enough? 2 home runs for Griffey. He's probably the best player in the game. That one was at a slower speed out of the park. But if Griffey gets a hold of it, that's all you need to do. But yeah, on the channel, I would like to get more people to play in person. To be honest, that's what keeps me motivated more than anything, is to have someone to play in person. When this channel first started, my idea was to make edited videos of me playing my friends, which I did, and then keep track of those by the record and just keep doing them that way. Well, video editing is a lot of work, and at the time I was working a job where, oh, they called that fair? A job where I was at a computer a lot, so I didn't really want to do video editing like that after a while, and got burnt out pretty quick, maybe 6 months. Then I started the streaming. That's when YouTube gaming first launched, and I thought it could be a great opportunity, but they kind of botched that launch, and they didn't highlight the live videos that were playing. They used all their previous... What the heck? Oh my gosh. Well, I got the 1 run in. Alex is here. We have Griffey Baseball. So yeah, I forgot where I was going with that as far as how the channel started, because I was going to wrap that around to something, but started doing more streaming. But the thing was, I continued with the tournaments and playing at bars, playing versus people, and so I got to hang out with people in person and then also stream and talk with the chat. That's what ideally I like to do on the channel. So it's been a lot more of me solo playing, which is fine. I don't mind playing some baseball games and talking to the chat, or playing some sports games, but that's really what I wanted to showcase on the channel, and it's not been as much of that. There we go. So I have to get some people to come over and play me. Yeah, I never went to the park, but it looks pretty incredible from what I could see here. Beautiful park, crappy baseball team. Jose Munoz, which would be A-Rod. It's a bomb to center. Almost got to the 500-foot mark. So the hitting's coming back in this one versus the Royals. They're just the team I needed to run into to get my bats going. Deontay been to KC Park. Good barbecue, he says. I'm guessing your order was pretty massive based off what you talk about food orders on the channel in the past. All right, bottom of the 6th. Do the Royals got any fight in them? Or are they just going to take it? Not much there. So I had a 16-inch no-glove softball game today. New team. Bunch of random guys. My analysis of the team is it's very slow. It's a very slow team. And not much pop in the bats yet. But it's the first game, so maybe some guys had something in the tank we just didn't see today. Infield looked like it'll be pretty solid. But yeah, I mean, a couple guys in the outfield looked like they weren't ready to move too much. Which I understand. I mean, I was playing shortstop, and there was at least one ball I probably could have ran to that was behind me to make a play, and I just didn't move at all. Light hitting slow pokes. I don't know if they're all light hitters, but yeah, the team overall is slow. But it was great to get back out there. I mean, I could walk to the park in 15-20 minutes if I wanted to. It's like a less than 5-minute drive. The Nancy shirt I have on is the old softball team I used to play on. But that team is extinct. It's a thing of the past. I went 1 for 3. I was the only run scored. I had a double and someone knocked me in. We lost 11-1. I had a nice rip down the line. It was just foul. You maybe could have called. It would have been at least a triple. The Nancys didn't stink. I mean, they did for about 4, maybe 5 years, and in the last 5 years had a good run of like winning first, second, third place in leagues, getting money, but you know, it's just a good, about, I would say, a 10-year run maybe. The manager, Chris, he just decided he didn't want to do it anymore. Yeah, not bad. The pitcher... No, they finally got something going. The pitcher had a very high arc, and the ump really wasn't calling too many of them illegal. And that was like the only type of pitch he had. So whenever you're playing 16-inch softball and there's a high arcer, it's a little bit harder to line it up for a hit because it's dropping down at a weird place. So you kind of got to back up a little bit more. So you got to make that adjustment. But I would say half the team's not super experienced in softball. Oh man, Royals maybe making a run. Yeah, that's what quite a few people say, is that the Saturn World Series is good. I remember almost buying it a couple times at a game store that was in Chicago on Clark Street. It was called People Play Games, I remember. And they had a good selection of everything, and I would go in there sometimes. And I didn't pick it up for whatever reason. I don't know if it was the version that everyone says is good. The regular wingman to keep me company on the stream. Yeah, I could do that. There's definitely people I could get over here to play me. It's just at the times I have available to actually do this is usually, you know, the time I'm doing it now. Just later on the weekdays. And no one's going to usually come over at this time. Lived in California. Jose Munoz hot in this one. Vicinity of Dodger Stadium. Okay. Oh, just a lazy fly ball from Griffey. People who play games is out of business now. The staff was all right. The one guy, after the place went out of business, or maybe was still in business for a little bit, he would go into D-Men Tap where we would play. He wasn't a sports gamer at all, but he would be drinking at the bar. But I remember that place was a little bit too... They kind of treated everyone who walked in the door like a potential thief. So it wasn't like a good customer experience. If you brought in any type of bag, they wanted to put it behind the counter. And then I remember one time I walked in with my wife. She had like a coffee, you know, because it's like it's a yuppie area there right by Wrigley Field. So they have a bunch of coffee places and whatever. They're like, oh no, you can't walk around and look with coffee. It's like, they're old video games. And we're adults. It's like, so they just cost themselves business that day. Because I'm like, well, I'm not going to leave her outside and look at games. So I guess I'm not buying any games here today. People don't play games. Well, I wonder, is a good a selection that they weren't like totally overpriced. Like some of their prices were pretty good, and they had a good selection. So I don't. But like I said, I don't think they weren't thinking about customer service. Let's put it that way. You're happy it got shut down. It was one of the only few retro game stores in Chicago left. No, it shut down before Larry Lightfoot shut down the whole city and people listened. That's their fault. So yeah, I go to video games then and now in my neighborhood. It's called, well, it's Hardwood Heights. You could drive there in like 10 minutes. I haven't been there in a while now. Always safe. But for a while, it was one of the places I like to shop around the area. The guy doesn't care about the mask. He's an individual owner. Oh, man. It's rough between those two, but I guess I'd have to give the nod to Larry Dominic of Cicero. 5-1. Took care of the Royals. Pretty easy game. Three or four dedicated retro games. And that, yeah, it's amazing to me how the Chicagoland area has so few compared to like just random places. Because when I would go out of state, I would find some in Michigan, Indiana, some pretty good ones. And then like Chicago's got nothing. There is Play It Retro, but man, he's just asking way too much for his stuff. He has everything, but it's because everything's overpriced by like 25-30%. Before, when he first opened, it was like, you know, everything was maybe a few dollars more, $5 more, maybe $10 more in a big item, but now it's just like out of control. Called Game Over, low prices too. Yeah, if you could still get low prices with them too. Oh yeah, there was one that I went to in Grand Rapids. It closed. It's called Game Changers. What's up, Patrick? So Griffey had the 2 home runs. Yeah, I got the W. Ken Griffey, player of the game again. All right, Theodore, I'll take your word for it. Mike Piazza's on the cover of that one. All right, let's look at the stats. Batting average. Oh, a bunch of Mariners up there. They're looking good. Triples, I don't think we get a lot of those. No, it's hard to get triples in this game. Game Changers was on its own, and this was probably, you know, late 2010s when I was going there. 41 RBIs for Griffey, and the Ramirez twins up there. I don't know if they're twins. I just call them twins. I mean, Griffey's leading everything. As he should. It's his game. Don't steal bases. It's rave time. 21 homers for Griffey. Man, Viper is not even on the list. But Griffey and Murray, 21 and 12. Frank Liberty, he lit me up for a couple home runs in the last game. Man, you have been back since 2015? Your hometown? Man, those are some hits for the Mariners. Even guys lower, I think the whole lineup's in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, they just all get a lot of at bats because we're going around and around. It's good to see. Slugging average, I really don't fully understand how this is calculated, but here you go. Yeah, go back. Grand Rapids is pretty cool. I enjoyed it. I wouldn't mind going back to Michigan soon. Family matters, says Patrick. I agree. Well, I'm going to save the last game of the season for another stream. I've been a little under the weather, and I could already sense my voice going out just talking for a little bit like it did tonight. So I'll be back soon with the last game of the season. Family Matters suck. This show, I didn't think it was that bad at the time, but looking back on, I would definitely not want to watch it. So you're probably right. Alright guys, well thanks for tuning in tonight. I'll be back soon with some more Griffey. Like I said, there's a few things I got going. Still got to finish Madden 2003 team breakdowns and the Tecmo Super Bowl season I started on the PlayStation. So I'm going to get through this one and then mix some other things in with the other two. See you guys later. Take care and have a good